This is Nikolai Stephanopoulos reporting for Alpha Omega TV. I am honored to do this interview with Aristotle today of Stygia, one of the greatest philosophers and scientists in all history. We're glad we can have you.
Thank you, Nikolai. I'm happy to be here today.
All right, let's get started with a commonly asked first question. When and where were you born?
I was born in Stygia, Greece, in the year 384 BC.
All right, and what was your life like growing up?
Although my family lived in Stygia, my father traveled to and from the city of Pella, where he worked as King Amantius' doctor. As a child, I would go with my father to work, which gave me a strong background in medicine. I had an older sister named Arimathea, an older brother named Aramentius. Unfortunately, both of my parents died before I was 18. And in 367 BC, I moved to Athens to attend Plato's Academy. There, I studied a variety of subjects, all the arts and sciences, literature, philosophy, government, and logic. I stayed there for 20 years. First, I started as a student, but because of my great intellect, Plato hired me as a teacher.
Very impressive. Since you mentioned Plato, that leads me to my next question. You were closely connected to two very important historical figures. Who were they and what was your relationship to them?
The great Greek philosopher Plato was my teacher, mentor, and friend while I attended his academy. We had great respect for one another's intelligence. As a matter of fact, he often referred to me as the intellect of the school. In return, I must give Plato much credit. If it wasn't for his academic influence, I certainly would not be the great philosopher and scientist I am today. The second important historical figure in my life was Alexander the Great. After leaving Plato's academy in 347 BC, King Philip II asked me to move to the capital city of Pella and tutor his brilliant and highly ambitious 13-year-old son, Alexander. Alexander the Great became one of the greatest military commanders of all time and king to one of the largest empires in the ancient world.
All right, very interesting. Now, what about your personal life? Did you ever marry or have any children?
At the age of 37, I married the beautiful 18-year-old Paphius. Shortly after giving birth to our daughter, she died, so in her honor, I named my daughter after her. A few years later, I had a relationship with one of my wife's handmaidens, Herculus. She bore me a son, who I named after my father, Nicodemus.
Okay, and what did you do after you left the employment of the king?
Well, in 335 BC, I returned to Athens and opened my own academy called the Lyceum. At this time, Alexander the Great helped me as I put together an encyclopedia of nature. He had his representatives send me plant and animal samples from all across the entire Alexandrian Empire. This encyclopedia, which categorized nature and the physical world, laid the groundwork for the modern study of biology, and that is why I am nicknamed the father of biology.
You certainly have done a lot in the academic field. Now, what accomplishment are you the most proud of?
I would have to say I am most proud of building the first great library of antiquity at the Lyceum that contained more than 400 compositions of my research. And I am humbled that modern man considers me one of the greatest minds of the ancient world.
All right. Well, Aristotle, you've learned so much in your lifetime. What do you think is the most important thing for mankind to know?
I think mankind should always strive to be the best he can be by putting truth and justice above everything else. One of my most famous quotes says it all. Man, when perfected, is the best of animals, but when separated from law and justice, he is the worst of all.
Well, Mr. Aristotle, thank you so much for your words of wisdom and giving us a personal look into your life. This is Nikolai Stephanopoulos reporting from Alpha Omega TV. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and as they say in Greek, Kalinita.